talk about is the fact that this movie is not at all a conventional genre film of any kind, how you've gone against the rules that Hollywood tends to play by. That's one of the reasons why Sony didn't want to make it. So explain what those rules are, why it's impossible you brought up this line about character and drama being bad words in Hollywood, and what you were trying to make instead. And the writing, of course.
I would say, though, say that it is a genre film. But for me, the greatest thing about genre films is that they have this kind of set of innate truths and a kind of world that you enter that's with certain definitions to them, waiting to be reinvented over and over. So each person kind of takes their turn to make them fresh again. And I think they also tend to, as a result, they kind of reflect the times. Like certain gangster, if you take gangster films in different periods, they tend to reflect what's going on in the bigger picture. But I guess in this case it was the fact that what was fresh about this particular one is the fact that it was set in the country where the foot soldiers were the people that making the moonshine, as opposed to the Chicago gangsters, the Capones.
As personified by the Gary Oldman character who infiltrates the world.
Exactly, and because of that, and these guys, this sort of tradition of, in the country of the outlaw and the rebels, it touches on the Western, so where the Western ends, the gangster film begins.
I think it's more of a Western than a gangster film. But
well,
there's a Tommy gun here and there.
Transition.
Yeah. What were you trying to write? Yeah.
It's a wankster film.
So in the course of writing it, why did you write it the way you did? What was the genre you thought you were executing?
I wasn't concerned with genres at all, personally. I was only given a really, really beautiful, beautifully written book that had a kind of conventional story in its way, but that was so full of detail and incredible dialogue, and that though I was reluctant to write a screenplay from a book, it was so beautifully done that it became impossible to resist, really. So we did it. So I wasn't sort of going into it as that this was some kind of genre piece myself. He knows about that sort of stuff.
Well, no, the fact that also that it was a true story was another element to it. But of course, it becomes very specific.
It was shot through with melancholy and sorrow and these things that tend to sort of permeate on some level John's work. And it was also very, very violent, brutally violent at times.
And humorous and romantic.
And it was funny. It was everything.
Romantic, sex,
sexy.
So there was this one. When you wrote it, you did not write it, did you, with any particular people in mind to play the parts? What did you know?
Well, we wrote Guy's character for him because we sent out the script to him. We wanted Guy Pearce in the film. And he was only concerned with writing. He was only concerned with the playing a character that was. It's very difficult to do an interview with you because
too familiar.
Because
I'm allowed to look around and do things.
You look over there at the same time. So I don't know if I'm doing an interview with you or with the camera.
You're doing an interview with the camera, with me right behind it.
And I don't worry about the fact that
somebody was distracting me over there.
Oh yeah,
I'll try to keep focus.
Yes, gone far away with another question.
And so
But
you said
also
you were
in
writing
shot-
it for Guy
shot-
Pearce. So Guy Pearce's character is
Yeah,
the villain of the
yeah,
piece.
he wanted a memorable villain.
He sure got
If
one.
we're going to do, if he was going to be in the film, and play the villain in the film, he wanted a memorable villain, and so we kind of wrote that together in a way.
And something that he could get more, sink his teeth into more, and wasn't as familiar as Rakes in the true story was a corrupt cop that was
Corrupt country cop.
Yeah.
So you brought him in from the city to sort of account
Yeah.
for how,
And he could
you know,
dress in that
convention,
way and be flamboyant and be
sophisticated.
sexually ambiguous.
and also to
Not that rural people can't be sexually ambiguous as well, but there was something he could play with.
They do it with animals. No, I'm kidding.
and,
Gee.
This
I'm
is
not gonna
IndieWire.
shoot
I can do
you.
whatever I want.
but there's also the Shire was on board at a very early stage, but not during the writing at a later point it had a long you're gonna film.
No, it's just my kids.
Thought he was going to whip out the meta for me.
But and then actually in the rehearsal process, which Nick's in with the rehearsal and where with the whole cast there, where there is a sort of tweaking to each actor. You know, I mean, in detail, very minute detail. You know, there's certain
Tweaking
things.
the actors.
Well, as in